Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications.
Hope you're doing well today. It is the 8th of May. If you were Spanish, you would be saying it's Ocho de Mayo. Now, I had put forth an invitation a few videos back that if you have a question, that you could simply post your question as a comment on one of my videos, and I'll do my best to answer it. If you feel like you would rather email me, you can email me directly at searchforsigns@mail.com. So, let's get into it. Now, I wanted to read one of Benjamin Creme's master's articles at the end of this video, but I also wanted to kind of address some of the comments that people put up. It says, where's one of them? Okay, here it is. This was, I think, from Abdullah, my Iraqi friend, but it says, it's very clear that Maitreya will soon come, and he will heal the people who have corona with miracle. Does he mean that, Maitreya is going to just all of a sudden wipe away the coronavirus altogether? No, probably not. More than likely, we have to deal with it as humanity because it's a global karma that we're dealing with. Now, will Maitreya and the masters help ameliorate people with the coronavirus? I'm sure they're already doing it now. Are they helping to ease the transition that people are going through who are maybe not so lucky and are going to pass away because of the virus? Then they've been doing stuff like that all along. These masters are the angels. They're the ones that have always been here during our times of crisis to help us through our crisis in our own lives, and when there's a tornado or earthquake, tsunami, those kind of things. These masters who look like us, are walking amongst us in the trenches, helping us to get through those times of difficulty. And this is definitely one of them. The other question, same guy. Do you think Maitreya is the Antichrist? Now, typically I just remove these kind of comments, but I had a change of heart a few weeks back, and it came from actually when I read one of Benjamin Creme's master's articles. But I think that it's important for people to realize the truth that the Antichrist has already come and gone for themselves. And we're all kind of come to that truth in our own time. And the fact that we'll come into the truth in our own time that Maitreya is here. And Maitreya is the one awaited by all the world's religions. So in the meantime, it's important for people to go through this and question whether he's the Antichrist or not. And some people, it might take them their whole life to realize it. But Maitreya will love him either way. Now, the Antichrist that was written in the Bible, in Revelations, was never written with the intention of it being interpreted as an individual. The Antichrist is nothing but an energy. And it's an energy that's sent purposely out into the world to destroy the old ways of thinking, the old ways of relating, to allow a new way of thinking and relating to occur and flourish. This new way of thinking is the energy and the qualities of Aquarius, which is synthesis and brotherhood and cooperation. Now, if you are a fundamentalist Christian, you would say, well, that's not in my Bible. Well, ask yourself this question. Why is the symbol of the fish throughout the entire gospel story of the New Testament? And the age-old symbol, even before Jesus walked the earth, the symbol for that constellation of Pisces is the fish. And then ask yourself this question. Don't even ask yourself this question. Take the time to read Matthew or Mark or John or whatever. Read about when Jesus was telling his disciples to prepare the feast, the Last Supper. And there's a little itty bitty little stanza in there where Jesus says, follow the person carrying the bucket of water up the steps and help prepare the feast, or something to that effect. Well, the age-old symbol of Aquarius is the water carrier. So it's in the Bible. It's just not written, it's not spelled out, clearly for people to understand, I guess, and people misinterpret a lot of those things. But anyway, all right, so let's read some of the other comments here. Okey-dokey. I'll just read this other one. I think the other one doesn't really matter. But anyway, this is by Statin Skills. skill, excuse me. And I tell you, before I read my glasses, I missed the first T, so I thought it said something else. Now, I have to say, this first line made me laugh when I first read it. It says, "Hey Gary, so there have been a lot of changes in the world since I came here to last ridicule you, Creme boy. I would not be doing my job if people weren't here to ridicule me, that is for sure. But so does it hurt my feelings? Not at all. Now we are looking at a very uncertain world. There are food shortages coming. People will go hungry, and people will also be turned out of their homes." Now, this sentence I really want to comment on. The other parts of this really don't mean much, but this is the problem that we've been having all along. People will go hungry? No, people have been going hungry for decades, and we've been turning a blind eye to that crime, that shame, that crime in our midst that Maitreya says so moves him to grief. People have been starving to death. Tens of thousands of people a day have been starving to death in a world of plenty needlessly, only because people such as this person are complacent and turn a blind eye to it. And now that something, relatively speaking, it's bad what's going on in the United States and in the world as a whole, but it's mild compared to what people have had to deal with for decades with literally nothing. No clothes on their body, living, drinking unclean drinking water, dying of that, or dying of hunger needlessly. Stomachs are bloated because they have no food. In a world of plenty, and that is the problem. So all this other stuff, yeah, is it hard? Yeah, absolutely, but pales in comparison to what people have been going through, and those people have never had a voice. The media has never shined a light on that. And there have been some, infomercials and stuff like that. But for the most part, the media has never really taken the time, because it's not in their best interest because people don't care, right? To focus on those kind of things. If they focused on that the same way they focused on the coronavirus, we would have changed this world decades ago. But, right now we're still living in the same world we're living in. So people have to suffer before they can change. People have to be up against it before they'll change. It's not about Maitreya and the Masters and the wisdom coming back as much as it is about us changing our ways. That's the point. So, anyway, there will be great misery. All the while, there are plans to continue social distancing almost indefinitely, which is a wonderful thing. Don't think I didn't pick up on the sarcasm on that. Because it will make them vulnerable both physically and emotionally. Now, the thing that I've noticed is people have been more considerate and concerned for other people. Now, they've also been concerned about themselves. They don't want to get this virus, so they've been staying away. But for the most part, I've seen people hold doors for people so they didn't have to touch the door. I've seen people move out of the way to allow other people to go through first and those kind of things. Is it perfect? No. I've also been walking in a park and seeing people, acceptable distances away, having a wonderful conversation, very relaxed conversation. So I don't see people being physically and emotionally weighed down by anything. Maybe this person just feels isolated, but it kind of sounds like a negative Nelly, so I can see why people don't really want to talk to him. But anyway, the future therefore looks brighter for you than I would have imagined even just a few weeks ago. I don't know what he means by that, but back in the old world, we seem to have exited from one day to the next, and I'm not ashamed to admit I'm reeling a little bit myself. So imagine what it is like for those caught up in the narrative. Like I said, I really haven't seen, and I work in the public, and I've been still working in the public. I haven't seen people that concerned about it, or that caught up in this isolation that this person is talking about. I see people more realizing what's more important to them, personally, but that's just me. Anyway, but maybe they're seeing somebody different or living in a different area. I mean, there hasn't been any riots. There's been some people protesting in Michigan, but that's because they want to get out. They want to make a living. I can understand that. They're angry. But these are very These are really exciting times to witness, my friend. We are not writing the final paragraphs here of humanity. Instead, we're... and I'll let you read the rest of it if you want to. But, like I said, I think this is indicative of what we're going through and how people are grasping at straws trying to find the truth for themselves. So, anyway, good luck to this person, and I hope he finds what he's looking for. But the other thing, too, I wanted to read one of Benjamin Crime's Master's articles, again, to end the video. But there is a part where he's talking about how simple Maitreya's teachings will be, and it's not strange or beyond their of people's level of thought. And he also said that people will, when they realize that he is him, that they will know they've seen him before. And it kind of goes along the lines of what I've been saying all along, is one of the reasons why I never thought that Raj Patel was Maitreya was because he wasn't speaking simply. He was speaking very eloquently, but very intellectually, and so it was very hard to follow what he was talking about because he was talking about stuff in economic terms and very complex, and it wasn't simple. But it also goes along the lines of what I was talking about before, and this is the first time I've really picked up on reading this, but people always ask, why haven't we seen videos of Maitreya or interviews with Maitreya? I think we have. And I think that when my people really start to see Maitreya and start to recognize him, they're going to say that they've seen him before. And that's kind of, I think, what Benjamin Crime's Master is saying here. It says, when Maitreya appears before the world, people will realize that they have known him from before. So, anyway, so let's get into it. So, when Maitreya appears before the world, people will have realized that they have known him from before, and that his teaching is not strange or beyond their level of thought. Simple indeed will be that all may understand. Precisely his simplicity will astound. Nevertheless, it will be found also that most people will experience what they hear in a new way, as a dawning truth, new and touching them at a deeper level. Simple the ideas may be, but they will resonate in people's hearts and feel fresh and vibrant. Thus will it be. Thus will Maitreya touch the hearts of men, appealing to them to aid themselves by aiding their brothers and sisters across the world. When men hear him, they will ponder deeply on what he says and feel strangely moved by the oft-heard words. Their hearts will respond as hitherto they have not, and a new understanding and urgency will potentize their response. Thus will Maitreya galvanize the peoples of the world to action and change. Thus, those who have stood back will come forward and join the clamor for justice and sharing, freedom and peace. Many, of course, will ignore Maitreya. Many will find his ideas abhorrent and dangerous, or utopian and impossible of accomplishment. Some, more sinister and afraid, will see him the Antichrist, the embodiment of all their fears. Some would have him crucified forthwith had they the power. Many will sit quietly on the fence, unable to take a stand for or against. Those who can respond will grow in number and raise their voices for sharing and justice. They will gather around and support him, and see him as their leader and mentor, teacher and guide. Thus will form a powerful mass of world public opinion calling for change. More and more governments will find it difficult to resist the demands of the people and will be forced to implement some degree of change. The people will grow in power, and their voices, potentized by Maitreya, will grow in strength and clarity of demand. They will call for their spokesperson to speak to the world, and the stage will be set for the day of declaration, the first day of the new dawn. The day of declaration on which for the first time Maitreya will acknowledge his true stature and name will stand out through history as the turning point in the evolution of mankind. It will be inscribed in the annals as the day of days, the beginning of the new, the sanctification of mankind, the portal to the glorious future which awaits humanity. That day is not far off. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.